Okay, so on this life journey, we choose our practices for mindfulness and living and slowing down. But also there are those moments where things are busier and we have to put ourselves in different situations outside our comfort zone, and the usual rituals and routines get somewhat sidelined. I don't like the word sidelined because they're ever present, and they change form. But are not as invested in as much as usual, as much as one likes, as much as we feel our best selves doing them. So I've recently got back to a deeper type of meditation practice. I do some form of meditation every day, but because my time wasn't my time on a few things recently, scheduling changes and you're literally just zonked. And so you can't invest time in the waking realm. You got to go to sleep and rest. But getting back to meditation is joy. I'm on 1 on the clock, I just saw. Everybody's got their own interpretation of meditation. I'm not here to preach about it. People say they can't do it. Everyone can do everything. It's just a matter of the mind. We can choose dancing meditations and water meditation, and we can do lots of different things. It doesn't have to be seated down, cross-legged. But whichever way we decide to take ourselves away from the people and come back to a space where we, for me, is seated, cross-legged, closed eyes, sometimes without sounds, depending on the environment and my mood and what I might need to be reminded of or release, changes the game. There's so much now. There is always, there never has been, I've come on this path and I'm not here to say, there was never messages, or there's always been times across the ages where there are mass downloads and frequency shifts for the people. But in this lived experience, in my lifetime now, and as I currently learn about my consciousness and expanded consciousness, is we can get so much from just like stopping the outside noise and from becoming still. And especially if some of us are getting downloads or energy from the spikes in solar flares or incoming energy or just love, like we just love and a bit hype, it's really good to learn to quieten that and to still it. Distillation. Someone needs to be distilling water. Well, I mean, we do generally, but we're not going to get onto the tap water thing right now. Coming back to a place of calm and stillness, because being hype all the time isn't for our best benefit, and it can lead us out of our higher self and the internal voice that leads us to better choices. I'm not saying don't be hype and don't share that loving, not energy, but just slowing down, taking stock, calming the mind, making time for breath, EFT, tapping, touch, sensory, sensual, personal practices, tantric, however anyone wants to call it, is it's magical. And it's a really important period in the time that we're alive right now. So I would encourage us all to make time for meditation, even if it's 5 full minutes. I think anything less than 15 and 20 doesn't get us to a deeper state, but something is better than nothing. And so as long as there is an attempt, there is effort, there is intention towards making that time, got to do it. And 4:40 on the clock, 44. There's something else coming through, but I can't really distinguish that for a minute, so I'm just going to say meditation. life review, slowing down, resting, stopping. Like, to rest, you have to stop. You have to renounce a former life if you want a new life. You have to renounce the system. You have to renounce certain things energetically. I'm not saying we don't operate on the material realms, physical planes. And we learn to exist without being attached to certain things. Toxic places, spaces, people, substances, whatever. To learn ourselves again, to see how far we've come, what we've overcome. Some of us just, just plod on and sort of don't, I think maybe I just don't really sort of look back and take stock and think, oh, I have actually done a fair bit, I have actually overcome a bit, because we just get on with it. We just, I'm not saying it's easy or we don't cry about things, I love a blub, but we overcome. Something's guiding us, something's protecting us, and we never give up. And that's the message, maybe. Never give up. There's always something that we can find when we come back to ourselves, meditate, just get a little message from higher self of something we may or may not have thought or considered that day. And obviously when I say meditation, it's not about thought and thinking, but stuff does come when you slow the mind and you sort of try to get out of the thinking mode. Visions and words, affirmations, downloads, prophecy, whatever, they do come to us. So I think there's probably some nice messages in the ethers for you if you decide to connect now. 656.